So how are you?
Today a little tired because I slept on the couch. I have a friend over. She's staying for a week and I give her my bed. And today I slept in the couch. I didn't sleep much, but I'm okay. I understand that I'm still kind of low mood or sadness is coming from not sleeping much, but still.
Sadness coming from that? Sadness, you said?
Yeah, a little sadness. A few things happened this week. The last week, I was reviewing and editing our sessions, and I was pretty impressed that I have a distorted self-image. I was not letting you speak much, interrupting you a lot. It's helping me to understand that I have a self-image that is not as it is.
But how do you mean distorted? In what way?
I have a better self-image than I actually have. I believe that I listen better. This is helping me understand that sometimes I get a lot of space. I don't really like to interrupt you or not listening to you. It's hard in one sense because it's like, fuck, this is reality, this is my image. It's helping me to understand that I have to just paying attention on how I really am or not how I supposed to be.
This is one of the issues in terms of how technology is helping us somehow, because we're getting now this great luxury of going back and seeing ourselves. I mean, when I was growing up, where I was growing up, was just a moment that really video was becoming very easy, accessible, Everybody was videotaping or whatever their lives and all that. It was not kind of an elitist thing to see yourself in the screen. In the past, it was really difficult, So I remember going back to certain videos because I used to be, all of my life I've been a musician. I like music, I play different instruments and so on. I love music. When I was like 16, we had a band. So we were videotaping our appearances and our concerts and all that. And seeing myself there, it's like, oh my God, who the fuck is that person? And this is it. We're getting now the opportunity to really observe what we do from the perspective of a person who is not us. We are not playing in our drama at that moment. We are not starring in it. So we are now laid back and looking at ourselves. And of course, it's a luxury. This is what I'm saying, because when you sleep, when you really start going deeper into the connection with your personal light, with the soul, in deeper levels. So as you're speaking, you're observing yourself and you're judging at the same time, or you're just being in a flow of good presence in that sense. So it can be frustrating, is what I'm trying to say from one point. And the other one is that it is very educative because we get this rare gift of being really good at seeing our shit. It's not happening now, but at least we are seeing it. I wanted to make it specific. Is there something specific that you pick out? Except all that, the interrupting and all that, the attitude maybe, but is there something that is really touching you?
Not, in one hand, it's about observation, because when I review the whole videos that I will post anytime soon, I understand that there's a lot of information that I was completely missing. In one hand is my lack of observation, and I'm more in what I want to say, what I want to express, and instead of really paying attention on what you're really telling me, because I'm missing important information and it's happening on and on. In one hand, I have to pay more attention. In the other hand, I know that I can speak much better and express much better, but I'm not thinking enough what I'm going to say, what I'm going to explain. It's just vomiting all I want to say and not really have like this inner peace, but also believing that I'm expressing myself very well. Of course, you are noticing that that's not the case. English is somehow an issue, but I think it's like beyond the language. It's about having this kind of impatience and not having this calm inner space to understand what I really want to share.
I'm picking up on this phrase, inner peace, that you used. There's not some kind of stability, or how would you describe it? Let's go into that.
It's about trusting that we will be able to understand each other, not being in a rush. It's once again the rush. Being in a rush, being impatient, it's not helping me at all.
And the impatience, where does it stem from? Where does it come from? Let's put impatience in a box and let's put Javier in the other one. Why are they friends, these two? What connects them?
We have discussed that is being afraid of not having enough time, or yeah, that not being able to live, or being afraid of dying. I don't know if it's about that. The harder thing is my fear about having a self-image that is very distorted. In one hand, I'm very happy that I'm having some consciousness about the things that I'm doing, or this really getting in touch with reality and deciding who I really want to be. But on the other hand, it's like, fuck, I've been having this self-image all my life, and I was really behaving like this, taking a lot of space. I don't know how to explain the feeling, but it's just like waking up from a distorted reality, let's say, and feel like I've been really having a self-image that is completely not as it is.
That's what therapy is about. We adapt into a kind of attitude, a persona, like Jung used to say, a type of mask also that we present to people. And there comes a point where our reality and that mask kind of become the same. There's no distinction between my attitude and what I really feel, or who I really believe I am, or what I experience internally in these moments of aloneness or quietness with myself. So these two kind of fuse into the persona, into the mask. You choose the word. I know it's not very academically correct, but this is the idea. We create this personality, and this personality then fuses with who we really are. Because we get a lot of, let's say, cues from the outside, now with all the social media explosion of who you are, what you like, post it, show it, let's see it, show us the new thing, how can you do it, I'm better than you, all that shit, you know. It's even worse, it's even harder, because now we have even a third aspect that needs to be observed, which is the personality in the media, our mask in a life, and our true kind of essence, kind of personality. So it's even more complicated.
More layers and more layers. Use a substance or a drug that is changing your consciousness. It's another layer more, and there's a lot of noise. But I'm sure that I also still distorting, and it's the feeling I'm not free. It's all about neurosis, and there's a huge amount of what I believe I am is completely distorted and is conditioned. It's this feeling about, fuck, I'm a reaction, I'm not free. There's some sadness about that.
Let's do a small game. Let's play a small game, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, close the eyes. Close the eyes, allow yourself to relax. We're gonna play with this phrase, I am not free. So let's start with the second part, not free, not free. So you just repeat it, maybe in Spanish if you like, and you just allow images to come, allow things to come. And if you like, you can describe them. Not free, not free. Anything.
Yeah, myself in a boat in the middle of the ocean, which is weird, no? Because it's more like a freedom, but yeah, it's just like the need to jump in the ocean. If I'm in the boat, I'm still not free.
Okay. Not free. Let's allow the not free part to the side for now. Just let it go. And just close the eyes, keep the eyes closed, and go to the phrase I am. I am.
Just I am, or I am free.
Just I am. Just I am. Just allow. Allow anything to appear. I am. And again, you can describe, maybe there are feelings or understanding or sensation.
More like a peaceful place or expansion.
Just stay with that for a moment. Just cherish that. Just experience that. Slowly, when you're ready, you can open the eyes. We're not meditating, but we're trying to experience a little bit what is happening, with this one. So just put them there, put them together, these two things. Like, I'm not free, not being free. And I love the image. It's like a boat and you're in the ocean. And supposedly you are free, but you're not free. You have the ability to be in this space and it's all big and nice. And you didn't say a broken boat in the middle of the ocean. So I'm guessing your boat runs well. You can go where you like, but still you're in a boat, you see?
The boat thing, I was having the feeling that being free is just not even have a boat, be part of the sea, be...
But you see, this is the mind playing. When you're detaching from the mind and you're saying, I am, what is happening?
Nothing is the expansion, unity, nothing is coming. It's more like a feeling.
And this feeling, what is it like?
Very peaceful feeling.
So there you go. You have the mind and you have the self. It's funny that they're in the same phrase, in the same sentence, that is declaring, I am limited. Not free. But you see, this I, if we really give the space that it claims, that's just expanding and encompassing everything and completing it all, then who cares about the boat and the ocean? This is just ornaments then, you see? The point is where your stress is lying, where you're putting really your stress, the point where you're making the point. We can make the point into our everyday things that we're not happy, we're not satisfied, and it's fine. But do not let the I, the self, in the corner. Do not forget the self. Do not put it in the corner. It's impossible. And I'm speaking to you as a person who is working with the spiritual part. I wouldn't be doing that with anyone. But you have this understanding. So what are you doing with your understanding?
In this picture, they're not free. It's kind of, I have to decide. I'm on the boat and I can go wherever and I can just, I'm not free because I have to decide. If I'm deciding, very paradoxical. I can go whenever I want. I've been able to, or have the illusion that I can choose. It is making me feel more anxious or more like impatient. And when I connect with that, I don't have to make any choice. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to go anywhere.
That's true. That's true. So now, what do I do with this body and this capacity of acting? Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. What we're saying in our previous sessions. There's no really a huge point in things. But if you learn to enjoy them, then a lot can come out of this whole experience. That's the whole issue. The self is complete in its own. It doesn't need much. It doesn't need any ornament. It doesn't need anything. The issue is that we put our focus on what cannot happen or all the possibilities that can happen. And in that sense, losing the game. So this is it. Yes, you're being too serious. Yes, you're being too focused on one thing. Yes, you're not allowing yourself to just play around and enjoy it. Yes, there shouldn't be a purpose necessarily, or there's nowhere really to go with all of that. Please do not forget this capacity of so many choices, of so many things. I like the boat sitting in the ocean, because it can go anywhere. It can do anything. You can dive in the water. You have so many possibilities. But take a note. It's describing the not free. What the fuck is happening? This phrase comes to mind from Shakespeare, from Hamlet, and he says, he talks about man and says, what a piece of work is a man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, how express in moving, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and he's going into this huge expression of the personality, of the capacity of man, admiring all that. And yet to me, it seems that I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself the king of infinite space. I could be held up in a little nut and consider myself, I'm the king of everything. It's like, oh my God, this just stepped it up 10 levels. Mr. Shakespeare, thank you. Kicking you in the balls with this. And yes, we have all these faculties and we have all these choices, and this is the boat in the water, free to choose, do whatever and all that. But it's also, we are kings of space. And it seems that maybe we're tied in this little boat, but space is infinite. Our capacity is endless.
I'm connected with a paradoxical thing. I search for meaning. I'm lack of meaning. And when I stop searching, the meaning is there. It's not something that I will achieve. The meaning is just existence itself. If I'm choosing, I get disconnected on the experience itself. And that's the meaning. I don't need to keep on searching. It's so fucking numb that it's just that somehow I got something in here, like, fuck.
Yeah. Very well said. That's it. That's it. It's perfect.
I've been all my life searching for meaning. I need to understand there's something grow, and it's not more like be human.
In this searching for meaning kind of thing, searching for meaning or what I'm not getting, what is more appropriate for your experience?
Both, but what I'm not getting is a big one also. Like, I think there's something that I'm not understanding.
Sure.
It's accepting the mystery of God and life. There's some space for mystery.
There's also this kind of part of the boat experiencing the ocean. This happens with action. As kids, we like to explore, and we explore the imagination with our bodies, we explore with our emotions, we explore with our sexuality. We're growing in this part, and we are really touching the world. We are really coming into interaction with the world. And this is the great part of learning. It's not going into school and telling us this and that happened then, and this equals that. As a process of growth, this is stupid. It's like, come on. I mean, what happens when you put one and one together? Two. Oof. It's like a monkey kind of training, instead of going into a more experiential process of diving into life, instead of somebody asking us, how do you feel when you do that? What is your impulse right now? Or let's explore this body need, or let's speak to the bird that is singing back to you, or let's just observe the sea and imagine that little boats are coming, and we're dulling their world in that sense with what we're training them. But going back to this is how we experience life. Life is full of imagination. This is the beauty. Shakespeare says, it's the beauty of the world. And in that sense, this is what we're looking into, our necessity of understanding I think has to do a lot with our training rather than with the training that we received that did not really allow us to experience the world fully. So there's always something missing. And it could be also this big part of reconnecting with God and all this, for sure. But I like to see it in many levels. One level, in my deepest certainty, is this, that we are in need of truly connecting with the world, with our emotions, with our hands, with our bodies, with our minds, in our personal way. Because this is it. This is the shit. This is what should be done. The endless possibilities, the king of infinite space, refers, to me at least, to this, that you and I can reach in the same conclusion, but we can touch the world in so many different ways. And in this process of touching, expressing, growing, we help the world to grow. And this is the beauty again. This is the, my God, how this happens. It's a game of interaction and change and growth. But we grow them like batteries, like soldiers, 1 and 1, 2, good boy, you know, and then you stay here and don't do anything and be a good boy, you know, okay. And then they give you something to eat, and that now you're having the illusion that your senses are completing the experience.
I'm feeling that I'm getting more connected with myself, with my feelings. I think something very meaningful that is helping me a lot is not watching porn and masturbating. Is something that really, really disconnect me a lot. I'm much more connected with I don't porn and I don't debate. It's something really huge.
Because you see, there's a lot of intensity in that experience. As with all like high experiences, you know, they create a lot of intensity, like cocaine, for example. Or, so you go into this, oh my God, what is happening? This wonderful woman, or the brain is going cuckoo with all the chemicals happening. And then, of course, coming back is like coming back. Like, there's no point in this. This is like boring, you know. And of course, it needs work to pick up this subtleness. The game, it's an interactive game. We expect that we do one move and wow, 1,000 things happen because of what is happening with technology, society today and everything. You push the button and the food is in your place. You write in your keyboard and then a nice lady is hanging out with you with the promise to have sex or whatever, you know? Everything is happening so fast. And the thing is, we're kind of losing a little bit this individuality in our different personalities. This thing I was describing earlier, the exploration of personality in the world. It's still happening, everything else, but the stimuli is so great. It's like, oh my God. So then, you know, you have to continue with stimuli. It's not interesting with normal stuff, you know?
It's about intensity. So you can just choose to have some peaks, but then it lowers down more like on a peaceful level. If you don't do it, you don't have these peaks, but you increase the peace. In one hand is peace, by the other hand is just being in touch with my feelings and with myself, you know, being in me.
Yes, exactly. This is it. Being in me. It's what we started our chat today with, which is having this time to decompress from the persona, from the mask, and spending time with what is, with the I am. And the thing is that if I'm having this understanding that this process should have been much, much easier, but we are not being taught from a young age to be in the I am. We are put into comparison with everything. And this is better, this is worse, this is green, this is red, and this is good, and this is bad. And in this process, we do not have enough space to just be. So this time with ourselves, like taking off the mask, is needed, and it's natural. It should be natural. It is a natural process. It's totally simple. It's so simple that we're not getting it. The idea in discovering true nature in Dzogchen is this exactly, that it's so simple that you will not get it. So how do I get in touch with my natural state? Like this. but I do not understand it. Oh shit, there's another idiot. So let's start. And then try pronouncing the syllable ah, and then you do the syllable ah, and then something's happening, but I'm kind of getting out of that. Okay, try now, since you're not getting it, the song of the Vajra. Yeah, it's not working. I'm coming out of it, the meaning and all that. And okay, let's try and imagine that this is happening and that is happening. Let's try cultivating the channels, and let's work with the winds, and let's bring balance, and maybe. And at the end, where do you return to? You know, you return slowly to the ah, or to just being present. I don't know if I've told you this story, but I was once with one of my teachers, a Sokshen teacher, and we were watching a movie. And we were watching that movie, and I was just watching the movie. I was not doing anything, you know. But these are teachers, you know, how wonderful they are. And the movie is just going through normal. I don't even remember what it was, but at some point he turns and says, "That's it." He said, "That's it." You know, I was in my state, and finally, like, imagine for him, like, oh, finally he's there. He's relaxing into his natural thing, you know. And he turned and said, "That's it." There you go. Doing nothing. I'm trying to remember this phrase by Diane Long. She's a yoga teacher. She used to say, "My favorite thing in the world is doing nothing and returning back to that when I finish." I'm not getting it exactly, but you see, it's doing nothing and returning back to that when I finish. Like, I'm constantly there. And this is a yoga teacher, you know, coming from one of them is precious that they are finally getting something. And this is the point. It's natural, but we are put into this type of comparison. Javier is better than Jorge, and Jorge is this. And then, oh, shit, what is happening?
It's getting hard. The shut up still is very hard, man. I guess it's a process, but now when I'm doing it, it's like, again, here it goes again. And I cannot shut the fuck up. It's really hard sometimes, most of the times. It's really hard.
Give me a good example. Give me a recent example.
For instance, I have a few friends that they are having not a clear idea on what they have to do work-wise, and they're worried. It's hard to not just let them be and trust the universe and trust that they will find their own path, their own way of finding their economic resources. I'm sharing my opinions all non-stop. And in this case, especially, they are very good friends. I feel like I don't want them to suffer. And I feel like I can somehow see that they're going to get in a hole, and I don't want them to get in that hole. But it's not trusting their process, not trusting the universe, not trusting.
What do you do? What is your response? How do you act?
Yo, telling them about possibilities that they have nowadays, trying to just give them tools. In my personality, having with a few friends a conversation, and I have to give my opinion, you know. I cannot really listen and not.
You know where this is coming from, yeah? You know where this is coming from?
Well, the narcissistic, no?
This part that wants to come out and play, evolved in everything, and showing that you know better, or you know. Well, you know, there's a distinction in all of this. It's good to pick it up, you know. When is it true interest? When is it true caring? And when is it just, I'm showing off a little bit? I think you will discover that true caring or compassion, but let's say it like normal human beings, true caring comes with simplicity. Let's say a person is crying, a child comes and sees them. They will not ask, "Why are you crying?" They will come and hug, pat. Maybe if they're holding a toy, they will share the toy with you, or they give you something to wipe your tears. But they don't go into this, "Why are you crying? What is happening to you?" You know? So you see, this is for me true caring. You're there, you're listening, And maybe you say, man, I feel you, or I understand it's difficult, or maybe it sounds confusing, or how can I help? Can I help you somehow? Instead of saying, I know what the thing is, you have to do this and that, and maybe if you do that, and then you can supplement. I don't know what it is that you're talking about. You should see a therapist, and you are doing this wrong, or whatever, you know. My answer is always in these things, act like a child. They don't act like they know shit. They feel shit. I feel you, you know. I feel you, and I'm there. I was having a chat with a friend of mine the other day, and he's coming from Italy to see his father that is sick and probably will die. The father is very strict and like that with him, and he's taking it and being there and all that. And I was asking him, why do you do it? Why do you take it? Take all the abuse? And says, well, he will probably die, and I want him to know that I love him. And that's, oops. Imagine, you haven't been doing it all your life, man. How easier it could have been if you just said, Dad, I love you, man. Or just going there and saying, but why do you shout at me? Or being honest, like, you never went life the right way, or you did this and that, but why are you making me feel so sad? Why are you attacking me? I love you. Why are you being so harsh with me? And it has to come to this, at the end of life, being sick, and the son traveling from another country, coming to be there and take the abuse, and maybe in this way show that he loves the other one, that he loves his dad. It's kind of weird, you know? It could have been much, much simpler than this.
It's funny that you say that because I'm really normal looking with a lot of harshness, not very kindly. Come on, man, being very hard, pretty hard. And I feel like, fuck, I shouldn't be that hard. I mean, this man is really having a tough time. I care about him, and I've been tough.
You have to figure out why, or what are the conditions, because sometimes the conditions might need this type of attitude. But I don't know, my understanding, we need this type of growing in love and compassion. And when people come with problems or with ideas or with lack of clarity or whatever, I think love and compassion should be the first thing that comes to mind. Is it possible for that person to understand that there is love around them, embracing them? I can show love, and how in my behavior I can learn, support, and this is compassion in that sense, you know? So it needs a kind of softness in all of this. I understand the points of being harsh or direct, and these work well also. But, you know, for example, in the wrathful practices in Vajrayana, it's easy to mistake this power, this directness, this harshness, this violent kind of appearance or cutting through phenomena. And you're thinking, yeah, this shit works for me. No, this shit is you. And this is what it is. So really what happens in this, maybe one of the things that is happening in this relationship with the wrathful kind of aspects is that at some point you pick up that, oh shit, I'm being too hard on me. And this is not the way. Anger is purifying anger. So at some point, compassion starts to rise. Love starts to grow. Wisdom appears. We're touching a little bit our light, our true nature. So it's a total misunderstanding, you know. Your action takes place. For me, these things have to be in the background, always in the background, always we have to consider. Sometimes it's very compassionate. This teacher, this Tibetan teacher, that when he got enlightened, he was in the mountain practicing. I do not remember the name, and I don't want to say the wrong name. But when he got enlightened, liberated, his teachers went there and said, "You finished?" And I said, "Now go to the world and help." You know? And he said, "No, fuck it. I don't want to go back to that. I'll keep on doing my practice." And you know. and advancing like this. And they said, no, what are you talking about? Look, the people need help. We need to help them. We need to do work in the world. And said, no, please, I want to stay in my cave, The teachers, as they are resourceful, they went to the near village and they said, do you know there is a Buddha living in that cave? I am so-and-so Rinpoche, and he's my student. He's a Buddha. Go and receive blessing from him. So the whole village goes, and then they tell their friends and their families, and there's like lines of people coming. And he was this wrathful type of person. In the beginning, he was so like, what the fuck is happening? And said, no, go away. And one of the things he used in the beginning, one of the villagers said, I want you to liberate me. And said, no problem. He had the shotgun, so he takes the shotgun and boom, shoots him. He's liberated, take him. And then 100 people left. Oh, that works. But you see, wrathful compassion. Did he really kill him? Yes. Did he do it out of anger? No. Was he compassionate enough? Yeah, I believe he was. Did that guy liberate? Probably. But looking at it from the outside, it sounds rough, harsh. We have to include the love, we have to include the compassion, and this has to run always together with our behavior.
But I guess also it's about accept that also maybe I don't know too, and I don't have anything to say because I don't know either. And it's about acceptance of my lack of power sometimes. And the last thing that we are almost rushing out of time. I've been really peaceful or really motivated about my operation, my kidney transplant, but I'm getting a little fearful about it. I feel that it's coming very soon. And I started like being, I don't know, I was very, very confident about it and very like trusting the whole process, but I'm starting to get worried about it or fearful about it, which is weird because I had several callings from the hospital and I was very peaceful, but now it's not impatient. It's about what if something goes wrong and what if my kidney is rejected and these processes will take longer? What if the what ifs, they're coming? Sure. I don't know what to do about it.
The stress is rising because it's coming. The fear is waking up because it's coming. If I was a Chinese doctor, I would say, your kidney is speaking. Finally, it's speaking. The one that has the problem is finally speaking. Because the fear is stored in the kidneys. It's the emotion of the kidneys. So maybe that little guy now is really showing its weakness and bringing out all the insecurities and all that. It is related with the process of life and the operation and all that. But in one sense, it could be the negativity stored in the organ, the bringing of, let's say, coming closer to the moment of resolution always creates some kind of fear and insecurity. But also this type of observing the situation from far and contributing to the situation. When you're saying, okay, I will receive that in the future, and I'm waiting to receive it. So you're waiting, it's like feet up and you're waiting to receive it, So there's nothing happening, but as it's coming closer, you have to face the lion. It's like, you're not sitting with your feet up anymore, obviously. You're like, oh, that was fucking coming, So I'm saying that it's normal, that it's happening, and fear is very much connected with the kidneys, and it's also normal. At this stage, for me, it's just having this attitude of doing what needs to be done, and you're doing it. You have been waiting for a long time. You have been waiting for years, for decades. And that's fine. If something had happened and you've gotten sick now and you're saying, I'm feeling the fear, I would say it's the fear of losing life or getting sick or dying or whatever. But you've been facing this since you were a child, It's just a quickening towards the resolution that I'm feeling is bringing up the fear. And because kidneys are storages of energy, it has all the connotations. Energy is coming to the body because of the excitement of having it finally going ahead with it. It's coming to the kidneys. It's activating the kidneys. The poison in the kidney is fear. Fear is coming up, of course. So it's a cleaning in that sense. Also, And I would consider this as a quickening. So as something to resolve it, I would say just keep on meditating, pray. It's good to pray. And that's it. Just try to remain relaxed, because you were waiting for the lion. The lion is coming and you're seeing it come. And now is the moment of truth. What is there to do, Here it is. Here I am.
Yeah.
Hineni. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it makes sense also that I'm getting in touch with the fear. Let's just feel it and try to just decompress.
But also keep it, because this was the subject of our session today. Remember the word Hineni. I'm here. I am. You don't know this word from Kabbalah? We need a whole session for that one. But it's great. Hineni means when the bush speaks to Moses, he says, Hineni, I am here, command me. But it means I am here. So here, feeling the heart, I'm present, I'm here. When Abraham holds the knife, it's Hineni. Actually, when he first hears the word of God, he says Hineni. And it means exactly this. I am here. I'm present. So be present. Shit, it's all suction at the end. No. It is really relying at the grace and knowing that the voice of God is the supreme manifestation of events. So this is it. The grace is what we're experiencing now. So embrace it. So here I am. Face the lion. And that's it.
Hineni.
Hineni, just search it a little bit and we can talk about it next time.
Okay. Thank you very much, man.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.